Hi and welcome into the Kitchen Sink podcast where we talk about everything but the kitchen sink. Okay, how are we doing? My hair is literally blending into the wall. Oh my God, this is not what I need, guys. If you're just listening, you're not going to understand, but I will talk to you about it. First of all, hello. Let me adjust this fucking microphone because it's not close enough to me. Hello. Welcome into Kitchen Sink episode 13. I'm back. I'm sorry I took a week off, but it had to be done. To be honest, I'm actually surprised that I've found time to even make an episode for this week. Now, I don't know if it'll be going up when I'm expecting it to, because I don't know if I've got time to edit this, but I am recording it. So we'll see what happens there. But what I was blabbering on about at the beginning of the episode was, if you're just listening, I will describe. My hair is the same shade as my wall behind me, okay? So my hair is white, and I mean, like, guys, it's lacking colour. So essentially what happened was recently I decided to re-bleach my hair because I'm trying to commit to this whole bleaching thing, because I feel like once you've done it once, you may as well commit, do it a few times, and really make it a good chunk, rather than like just doing it once, ruining your hair, and then just letting it grow back again. It just doesn't, to me, that just seems counterproductive. I just feel like I've fucked my hair up enough. I may as well just continue on this path. So I have decided to just keep re-bleaching it because I'm thinking we're getting into summer weather. The blonde, or if you're looking at me currently, the white. It just seems like a cool vibe, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. And I have been enjoying. Sorry, I'm just putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. I have been enjoying my white moment, I guess. But yeah, so that's what I was blabbering on about at the beginning of this episode. But hello and welcome into another episode of the Kitchen Sink. I'm currently recording this the day before I go down to London. So I go down to London on a Wednesday. I then go to Paris on the Thursday because I'm essentially getting the Eurostar from London. And then I go to Paris. But we're like, our Eurostar is at like 6 a.m. or something crazy. So I decided to go down to London the day before. And then just stay over, because I think we have to be like at the Eurostar place for like 4 a.m, which is ridiculous if you ask me. But anyway, so this is when I'm recording this. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you're listening to this, I should be in Paris. We can fucking hope, right? I should be in Paris. Me and Liam are going to Paris, so we're thinking you might get a Parisian episode next, because I am going to try and record an episode. I'm going to take my camera with me. I'm not going to bring the mics. I think I'm just going to do like a little phone moment as we have done in the past. I know that's not as professional or whatever, but it is what it is. With these remote episodes, it's kind of difficult. And I've tried to buy mics. I've tried buying different mics. I've bought 2 different kinds, and neither are giving me good audio. So, I'm just letting it lie. And if anyone has any suggestions for tiny mics that actually work and give you decent audio, then please let me know, because I've been trying. But yeah, so I'm hopefully going to be doing a episode live from Paris, so we can just talk all things French. So yeah, and I'm sure you'll be getting that potentially next week. I don't know. What we're doing today is, I think this is going to be a music episode. And now, up to about 5 minutes ago, this wasn't a music episode. This was going to be another Brad Vice. But recently I've just been really into music. There's loads of stuff to do with music that I kind of want to speak about. And obviously now that I don't do music reactions, which we are going to get into that, just so like I've got a video on here that says why I don't do music reactions anymore. And I'm really going to dissect and go into all the detail, because there's a lot you guys don't realise. So we will get into that a bit later. So if you're here for the tea, then stick around. But there is just so much to do with music recently that I've wanted to chat about. There's albums that have come out that I haven't done reactions to. People have been asking me questions about it, asking for the reactions. So I thought we could discuss them in this episode. I'm sure you'll get another Brad Vice episode really soon because I already have I've got the dilemmas screenshotted. So yeah, but I guess this gives me an opportunity to say to you guys, email in if you've got a dilemma so then you've got a chance of obviously being in an episode and your dilemma being spoken about, because I think I've already screenshotted 7 for the next episode, which is a lot. I don't think I'll get through all them, but who knows? I might do. So it's thekitchensinkpd@gmail.com. I've got it on the screen, I'm sure. So if you want to send me your dilemma, please do. The email is always going to be open, so feel free. Drop me a dilemma whenever. There's loads already on there, so I've got plenty to be keeping me occupied. But yeah, that's always there. May as well talk about this now. So then obviously I've got potentially some more for probably 2 weeks' time, because I'm assuming the Paris episode is going to be next. But yeah, there's a few things that I want to speak about before we actually get into the music stuff. Also, I'm not sure if this episode is going to be massively long. Like I said, I've not got too much time because essentially today I'm recording this, and then in about 3 hours I need to leave because I need to go get some more tattoos. I'm getting 2 more tattoos. So I'm gonna talk you through my tattoos. I'm gonna show you the designs, because I've designed them myself, so you're going to get the inside scoop. Hopefully I end up getting them tattooed, who knows. So let's get into tattoos. So guys, if you haven't noticed, I'm very much on my tattoo journey. I'm really enjoying tattoos. I've got a total of, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got a total of 5 tattoos. By the end of the day, I should have 7, right? I tend to design them all myself, or if it is basically someone else's design, what I try to do is change it up slightly, make it my own somewhat, yeah? So for the most part, they are just my designs, but anyway. So what I'm getting this time is, essentially I've been doing a lot of meaningful stuff. So what I'm going to really break this down for you, because what I've been doing is, I've essentially thought, breaking my body in half, right? So on one arm and one side of my body, I've got all of the tattoos that are either dedicated to a person, have a meaning that's related to a person in my family, that whole thing. So that's all this side of my body, my right side. And then the other side of my body, I've decided is going to be more for me, just things that I like, my own artwork, things that I enjoy. I don't know, just kind of more of a fun side that just tells a story of who I am, and then the other side is more dedicated to people in my life. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm working with. So I'm getting 2 tattoos on me, my personal side, today, and that's because I've literally got none on my left arm so far. I've got 3 on my right arm, 1 on my left ribs, and 1 on my left leg, but I've got none on my left arm yet. So I really want to get some on there to kind of balance me out a little bit. So the first one I think we'll talk about is not the deep one, and that is, I'll put it on the screen, but I'll try and describe it as best as possible for those of you that are just listening. It is just literally a picture of a girl that I just magicked up in my mind, and the reason why I want to get her tattooed is because it kind of just resembles my art style and my favourite way to draw and create artwork. And it has been like this kind of for the longest time. I'm so obsessed with the over-exaggerated features, just a really cunty look. I just am. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. So I decided, because obviously I've been doing a lot of the meaningful stuff, I wanted just to have fun, and I wanted to get something tattooed that's just a bit more off the wall, a bit crazy. Not everyone's going to fuck with it, but I fuck with it. That kind of vibe. So I'm getting her. I'm going to call her Celia, because if you watch my YouTube videos, there's a painting that sits to the... God, if you're looking at it, what is it? To the left of me, if you're looking at the screen, there's a painting, I'm looking at it currently, that I did, God, years ago. I think it was during lockdown. And I called her Celia, and it was my first painting back painting thing, because I hadn't painted for years before that. So, yeah, I painted her and I called her Celia. And she's in every video, she's my favourite painting. I mean, not favourite painting I've done, but she's the OG, you know? And the first one that I was really super proud of. And I think I recorded myself doing her twin, and it's on the channel. So if you type in Brad Evans paint with me, I think there should be a video there for her twin. I did her a non-binary twin, and yeah, I mean, if anyone wants that to buy it, whatever, let me know, because I don't like it. It's just sat over there. It's not my favorite. But yeah, but it could be kind of cool if you wanted it. We could be twins. But anyway, so yeah, and you'll notice that Celia in that picture is kind of similar, very over-exaggerated features. I'll be putting a picture of like the OG Celia on the screen also. Very over-exaggerated features. I love brows. I love wing liner. I love the very like snatched eye, massive lips, tiny nose, that whole thing. So I decided I wanted to draw something that kind of encapsulates all those things that I love. So I came up with the girl that you're seeing on screen, and this tattoo. And I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to get her, but I'm thinking my forearm, just because I don't want her to be on a bit that like moves a lot, because that seems a bit dangerous. Like, I don't want her face to like distort if I move, you know? Like, she needs to be on a place that's like good. So I'm not going too big. I'm going to try and keep her as small as possible, just because I don't want it to be like a half sleeve moment, but I do want her to have a little moment. So that's the first one. Now the second one definitely has more of a meaning. Now this one, I don't even know. I think I was just looking at wings. Like, I saw a tattoo, because I scroll through Pinterest quite a lot to like get some inspiration, and I'm pretty sure I saw someone with these like set of fairy wings, but it was like a full set, like a top and a bottom, like that whole thing, and it was like on their spine, I think. So I was like, oh, fairy wings, interesting. And then like it kind of dinged, and like I had a little light bulb moment. And essentially what I'm getting is this. I'll put it on the screen, and it's a singular wing, but it's essentially if like a fairy wing was a bit more realistic, because I didn't want it to be too, oh my god, he's got a fairy wing, but I also wanted it to be like a realistic wing, quite delicate, that whole thing. To me, I know it's a fairy. To you guys, you might see a different insect, I don't know. But for me, it's a fairy. The reason behind why I'm getting this one is essentially growing up, we're going to get deep, so just bear with. Growing up, I used to get called fairy a lot, and not in a nice way. It was obviously as a way to bring me down and degrade me as a child. And this was from family members. I can think of a few. Not like my mum, my dad, my sisters. None of those people. Absolutely not. But like family relatives, that whole thing. And also just from like bullies and shit. Like, that was just like a really derogatory term for me when I was younger. And I grew up literally hating the word and like dreading being called it. And it made me feel really bad about myself. So I decided to get the fairy wing to try and like reclaim the word almost. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but like just to try and not even reclaim it, just like to make peace with the word. And if anything now, like I wouldn't change the fact that I'm quote unquote different, gay, whatever, a fairy, if you will. Like, I wouldn't change that for the world. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I love being gay. I do. So yeah, I decided to get the fairy wing just to try and like resemble that and kind of my growth into who I am as a person. So that's probably the most deep one I have, to be honest. But I'm so excited to get it, and I'm thinking of getting it like on my bicep here. Obviously, we'll see what I end up getting, because when you're listening to this, I should have them. So I wonder if it's going to be true. But yeah, so that's where I'm hoping to get it, like my inside of my like bicep area, like just so it's like more close to me, you know? Anyway, we're going to stop being so cringy. So yeah, there's that. The other thing I wanted to chat about was just my Fabletics. Guys, now this is going to be really quick, because I've been chatting for 15 minutes and we've not got into any music-related things yet, so bear with. But I want to talk about my Fabletics, because I'm now a Fabletic whore. I posted on Twitter a few times. Don't follow me on Twitter, it's my risky space, okay? But I did, in fact, buy some Fabletics. I bought 3 pairs of shorts, and I wasn't sure, but I trialed out a pair of their joggers. And guys, the joggers are my favorite. I can't wait for my size to come in stock, because they only had my size in the green, because I need long legs. and the only colour they had long legs in was green. So I bought some, guys. And I had to force myself not to wear them because I've been wearing them every day because they're so comfy. They make my arse and legs look incredible. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it, right? Self-love, thank you very much. I'm on a self-love journey, but we can get into that in another episode. I think I might do an episode soon about like kind of what I've been going through in like, I don't know, just an episode about growth and stuff, and like maybe getting a bit more real with you guys, because I realize most of these episodes are just us having fun, but it's nice to get deep every once in a while. So I'm sure I'll do an episode about it soon. But yeah. So my Fabletics are everything. Can't wait to get more sizes. Cannot recommend them enough, to be honest. The material is so comfy and stretchy. Like you feel like you're wearing nothing. It's amazing. And for someone who loves to be naked, it's a great alternative because you feel like you're naked. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Fabletics. If Fabletics want to work with me, my email will be linked down below. Thank you very much. Okay, now for us to actually get into music. I've wrote a few things down that just literally popped into my head. I don't know if it'll be enough to fill out this episode, but like I said, if it's a short episode, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Okay, so the first thing I thought I'd talk about is some artists, some albums that I kind of wanted to discuss that people have been asking me about that I haven't discussed, or I have discussed, but not everyone sees, you know? So I wanted to like discuss them in this, so then this can live on the internet, right? Because obviously me putting things on my stories, it goes away within 24 hours, that whole thing. So, first thing I wanted to talk about is Lana Del Rey's new album, Ocean Boulevard, or, if you want to be politically correct, Did You Know That There Is a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? Okay, it's a long-ass title, we love her for it, but I actually have a theory about this stuff. So maybe let's get into my theory behind this whole like long title thing that Lana's been doing recently. So my thought, because I mean, guys, that's not the longest title on the album. She's got one that says like, "Father, please stand on the shoulders of my grandfather while he is deep sea fishing." That's one of her titles of a song on her album. It's a beautiful song, but yeah. So my theory is, I think she is literally trolling us, guys, and I'll say this, and this is why. Because realistically, she could have just titled that song "Grandfather" or "Father" or "Deep Sea Fishing," you know? Like, she could have just titled the album "Ocean Boulevard," "Tunnel," you know, something. But the reason why I think she's doing it is because, personally, I just think she's trolling, because I know that she gets a load of, like, I don't even know if it's hate or just, like, people taking the piss about all these long titles. But do you all remember back when she was releasing stuff from Blue Bannisters and she brought out, I think it was like 3 tracks, and they all had the exact same cover art, but it was like a very Pixar layout, and like she switched them up with like Pixar and stuff. It looked like they weren't good cover arts. And then there was like that whole thing of people being like, "Oh my god, if this is the album, then fucking keep it. Like, if this is the artwork that we're getting, then keep it. Like, no one's gonna buy the album." Blah blah blah. So there was all this discussion, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, what if we get a really bad cover art for this album?" I remember that being a whole thing before Blue Bannisters came out. But then, obviously, we ended up getting a stunning and a load of stunning like artwork pieces and like different covers and stuff. Like, it was all really stunning. So I think this is her just like being like, I know you guys keep talking and taking the piss out of the fact that I do these long titles, so you know what, I'm gonna keep doing it and just trolling you all. That's where I think this is all coming from. But I wanted to speak about Ocean Boulevard because, like I said, obviously I haven't done a reaction. I don't plan on doing a reaction. I've listened to it, so what would be the point? So what we're going to do is, let me just load up the album because I do want to talk about some of the tracks. First and foremost, I do want to say I do enjoy the album. I will say overall, it's not my favourite Lana Del Rey album. A few tracks on here, though, are top tier Lana tracks for me. But I'm going to tell you kind of the reasons why it's not necessarily my favourite. And that is mainly because I feel like we've had this vibe from her already a few times. Like, I feel like this one's relatively similar to Norman fucking Rockwell, which is, I mean, my favourite album of hers. Oh, I should have worn my Lana Del Rey t-shirt. I've got a t-shirt that's got Lana Del Rey on it. Do I get changed? Because it's a music episode. I'm getting changed, BRB. Okay. I've got changed and now I'm really blending into this background, so it is what it is. But anyway, so now we're officially prepared for the music episode. So essentially, a few of the songs on this album I really, really love. But like I said, it is very similar to Norman fucking Rockwell, in my opinion, which is, in fact, my favourite Lana Del Rey album. So there is that. And it's also similar to Blue Banisters, which I feel like we had pretty recent. Like, no, maybe this is controversial, I don't know. But I miss, like, when Lana, like, used to, like, have a bit more fun with production. Like, I feel like so many of her songs are, like... And I love them. Honestly, guys, I love the slow stuff. But I feel like so much is just slow, ballady stuff, which I love it because I love her lyricism. I love her. Her voice is angelic and beautiful. I love it. But my thought is, like, I would love Lana to go back to, like, experimenting a bit with the sound. Like, I feel like every album kind of up to maybe, like, Norman or... even into maybe Chemtrails, because I feel like Chemtrails kind of had its own kind of sound. Like, it was a bit more unique, that one. But I feel like the last two albums have been pretty similar, and it's been sounds that we've kind of had. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love Blue Banisters. That's like second for me in, like, my ranking of Lana's albums. But anyway, so... like, I miss when, like, an album had, like, its own sound, and I just don't think this one has its own sound. It seems like just songs that we've had before, obviously just done in a slightly different way. Bar a few. There is a few on here that got me so excited. And, like, for example, when she brought out A&W, I was like, oh my God. Like, yes, she's giving us, like, the slow piano thing towards the beginning, but it was, like, saucy lyrics. And, like, the first track even, like, did you know that there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard? Like, I'm pretty sure that's talking about her vagina. Like, a few of the songs were, like, kind of saucy lyrics. So, like, I was living for that. Then, obviously, she released A&W, and, like, the whole last 2 minutes of that track killed me off. So now I was maybe giving her more credit, I guess, but I was thinking, oh, what if she's, like, gonna give us an album that's a bit more experimental, and her way of doing it was, like, Ocean Boulevard was pretty similar to, like, what we kind of had in Blue Banisters in my mind. So I was like, maybe this is, like, a transition for her. So she was gonna give us Ocean Boulevard as the lead single, and then obviously the start of A&W is, like, still kind of piano-y but a bit more seedy. And then I was like, oh, like, obviously it's kind of a transition into something a bit more funky. If you've heard it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I was like, oh, like, maybe this is her way of, like, transitioning us into this new sound rather than just hitting us with something brand new. And then obviously we got the album, and a lot of it was just similar stuff, bar a few, like I said. For example, I love Peppers. Now, that's probably, like, one of my favorite songs on the album. The rest is all pretty similar. Like, they're beautiful songs, but, like, they're all kind of slow, ballady type ones. Now, don't get me wrong, lyrically, like, some of these are incredible. Like, Kintsugi, I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure. But, like, Let the Light In, all, like, really beautiful. There's so many that are... Oh, and I'm pretty sure Fishtail as well is a bit more on the unique end. So, yeah, I was just hoping for a bit more of a unique sound. Because, like, for example, Born to Die... such unique sound. It is a staple in, like, Lana's discography, I feel. And, like, Ultraviolence, like, the grandiose sound and, like, this, like, larger than life, like, instrumental. Like, it's just got its own vibe, and I feel like this one doesn't have its own vibe. Now, I'm sure some people are going to disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But, I mean, I still listen to the album. Ones I don't listen to, should we get into that? Because this is a whole different topic. I really, 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 and I mean this wholeheartedly, I do not care for these interludes. I don't give a shit. Specifically, the John Baptiste one, I can get with it a bit more, I guess. It's a bit more tolerable. But Judas Smith interlude, I don't need to hear some, like, pastor or whatever preaching to me on a Lana Del Rey track and her just sitting there giggling. I don't need it. And, like, they're not long, they're not short interludes either. Like, if these interludes were a minute, 2 minutes, Sure. But these are like 4 or 5 minute interludes, people, of like her just sat there with a voice memo open while this man is just chatting all this shit. And she's just sat there giggling. And I was just like, what are we doing? Like, I don't need that. Like, I understand this is her album. It's her artwork. It's her art. And if she loves it, by all means. Like, I'm not dragging her by any means because, like, she can do whatever she wants. But I'm just saying, like, I do not listen to those tracks. I skip them every time. And yeah. Like, it's cute, but it's not my favourite Lana album. But I do still listen, and who knows, maybe it will grow on me more. There is that. And that's kind of my thoughts on Ocean Boulevard. Like I said, I'm sorry, I guess. I'm not that sorry, but I'm sorry I'm not doing a reaction. But Lana's specifically really hard to react to because, like, all the songs are relatively similar and relatively slow-paced and long. So it's just like, how do you keep it interesting and how can you edit it in a way? Do you know what I mean? Okay, sorry. This is not part of the same clip. I'm filming this afterwards, but I just had to pop in because I completely forgot to talk about Portals by Melanie Martinez, which is wild to me. It was in my notes, but I mean, as you can tell, I was pretty frazzled doing this episode, and I've not had that much time, so I thought I'd just quickly input myself talking about it now because I couldn't put this video up without talking about it because essentially, long story short, I absolutely love Melanie's album top to bottom. She brings it to you every ball. Like, guys, the only one I'd say kind of had to grow on me was Powder, which is one of the deluxe tracks. There wasn't one of the standard edition that had to grow on me. I absolutely loved it and still love it, and I've been playing it a lot, guys. So yeah, I just think Melanie's incredible. Like, she goes away for years and years on end. She comes back with a vision. She tells a story. This whole trilogy of Crybaby's life has been so fascinating to me. And like, me and my friend, we really like her a lot. And we've been following her since like she was doing Crybaby, like the first album. So I've been a long time fan. Was so excited for this to arrive. And I mean, she doesn't disappoint. Do you know what I mean? I will just quickly tell you some of my favourites. I think my top, now this is hard to say because I do love the whole album so much, and I'm not just saying that. I've got the vinyl, the whole thing, right? I think my favourite is potentially The Contortionist. I also love Void, Evil, Womb, Nymphology, Tunnel Vision, Death. I mean, what a great start to the fucking album. Death, like the music video for Death, insane. I love Milk of the Siren. I love Powder now that I know, obviously, lyrically what it's trying to say. It was just the pitched vocals when I first listened to it that was a bit iffy for me. But overall, no, guys, it's such a solid project. Like, definitely one of my favourites and potentially my favourite from her. Obviously, only time will tell because, I mean, the other two are really iconic. But I do think this one has all the potential to be just as iconic in my mind. She's got a great discography, so if you're not a Melanie fan, I know she's not for everybody. She is quite alternative and a bit different, but if you like lyrics, you like a story, you like a bit of uniqueness, then check her out. I love her, and yeah, I can't recommend this album enough. But anyway, back to the original pod. With that said, I guess that should probably just lead us into maybe me specifically breaking it down while I've like obviously got you music people in here for a specific episode. Maybe let's talk about why I don't do music reactions anymore. I think that'd be a great place to start. Let's begin with this. I mean, first of all, music is way more temperamental when it comes to copyright. Copyright is the biggest deal. I'm going to try and keep this brief because I know that people have heard this before. Like if you've been on a live stream or whatever when someone's asked. But I'm kind of over repeating myself. So this will be like the last time I probably speak about it or acknowledge it. Or if anyone asks, I'll be like, go watch that podcast and you'll know. But yeah, so essentially copyright makes it very, very difficult to make specifically music-related content, right? Obviously, they're still pretty hard on movies and TV shows and stuff, so I'm not getting off scot-free, but yeah. So the issue I found with music reactions was there was specific artists that you just could not do videos on, and I'll let you guys in on who they were. Like, for example, Dua Lipa. couldn't do videos on them, would get blocked or copyrighted, whatever, straight away. Doja Cat, another one. Beyonce, another one. Notice how it's all the females, but realistically, I don't do many males on the channel, so maybe that'll be why. But yeah, there was specific artists that you really could not do videos on without your video just getting blocked, whatever. But then on top of that, guys, you kind of like run the risk of getting a strike, and I really just didn't need the channel getting taken down. Like, I just didn't need that. So that was kind of the main reason. On top of that, the issue I kind of found was when it obviously came to music, you can't really, and this is if you don't, like, this is if you're doing an artist that doesn't typically just block your video straight away regardless, right? Because manual copyright claims are a bastard. Okay, so I'm going to tone it down because I feel like I'm shouting. When it came to doing music reactions in general, like, you tend to not be able to really keep in much more than 5 to 6 seconds of uncut audio at a time without it literally just getting flagged straight away. And like on top of that, YouTube doesn't flag it, right? Straight. I mean, sometimes it does, but for the most part, the way I was editing them, YouTube wouldn't flag it. So I'd be like, perfect. The video's fine. I can put it up. Great. And like YouTube scans the shit, right? YouTube goes through it, they check it, they do all the thing, right? So it has to go through that. And then once you put your video up, all these fucking record labels and shit come out the woodwork and manually copyright claim. And they're the bastard. And the reason why I say that they're the bastard is because YouTube will say, oh, you can dispute this if you think that you've been like wrongly claimed. You can do all this stuff. You can trim out the segment that they've copyright claimed, all this stuff. Well, in actual fact, when they say you can trim out the segment, what started to happen to me was, what they do is they manually copyright claim a part that would even have just me talking in. Like, I've had it before where, like, even like with the movies and stuff, like, I will be talking for the majority, but it's just like, they'll copyright claim it anyway. And then it's like, okay, I'll trim the segment out. You'll click that, and then it'll say to you, well, you've got to trim out the whole time that the audio is being played. So obviously, as you can imagine, when it's a music-related video, the music is in there, right? A lot of it is based on like what I'm talking about and like my reaction, I guess, but the music is definitely in there. So they'll say, oh, you can trim out the segment, but then you click on that, and it's like, oh, so trim out all of it other than your intro and your outro. Well, what would be the fucking point in that? Now, when it came to like album reactions and stuff, it'd be more like you can trim out a segment and then it'd be like, right, well, it's that whole song, which in the grand scheme of things, an album reaction, it is what it is. So you'll probably see that there's a few that's obviously on my channel because all the music stuff's on there. But like some of the songs in particular will have gotten me copyright claimed, and I will have just trimmed out the audio for that segment so it'll be completely silent. So that was I guess fine, but yeah, when it was like just like one song or whatever, it was just like, well, that video is pointless then, and then the money will then just go straight to the ad persons. And if you still see ads on videos, that doesn't mean jack shit. That doesn't mean that I'm getting the money. That just means that the money's going to the copyright claimant, right? So that's a little insight into copyright and music reactions. I'm sure some of you will have heard all that before, so I'm sorry if this is not interesting, but I thought I'd speak about it anyway, because in the nature of being thorough, right? So I don't get questions on this again. Because realistically, I love music. Hello, I'm talking about it with passion. I love music. I love listening to it. I love listening to it with you guys. There might be the odd one every so often on Patreon, but like, that's just hard to dedicate more time to editing that. Do you know what I mean? When it's realistically just going to be going on Patreon. But yeah, so there might be some in the future on Patreon, and who knows, I might do random ones here and there on the channel, but I highly, highly doubt it, because it kind of just became a point of me just not enjoying editing it, because there's not really anything you can do with the video. And I was also getting way more hate. I was getting way more hate on the music stuff. Just because like stands of music and artists are much more mean, right? They really are. And don't get me wrong, some TV shows, movies, like stuff like that, people that are fans of a certain franchise, whatever, they can be mean, totally. But like if your opinion is not glowing of an artist, people will drag you. And I mean, not just your opinion, you. Like, my appearance would get dragged on the regular. Like, I know for a fact Katy Perry stans don't like me. And that's okay. But yes, that was another reason. It was just much more hate. And then it was also just like I started doing more movies and stuff. And like, for example, like I did Euphoria, did Heartstopper, and these videos were just doing really well. And I was really fucking enjoying editing them. And so many of you guys were coming in for that kind of content. And I was just like, these aren't getting me as copyright claimed. I'm enjoying these more in terms of editing. And these people aren't being as mean. And these videos are doing better than the music stuff. So I was just like, let's commit to this then. And it's been like that since. Like, there's so much more that you can do with movies and TV shows because it's a visual thing, like in terms of editing. And you guys know, like, I'm all about the editing. I fucking love an edit. So yeah, that's mainly the reason why I stopped doing music reactions. Doesn't mean that I don't like music. Doesn't mean that I don't enjoy music reactions. Like, I watched some reactions. I've wrote some down because I wanted to speak about who I watch now that I don't do them, because kind of how I've been feeling, and this has kind of been like emulated into this shift as well. When you do a certain type of content, I'm not as inclined to watch that kind of content because obviously you spend your life doing it and you spend your life creating that kind of content. Why would you want to spend your free time also like ingesting that kind of content? Do you know what I mean? So when I was doing music reactions, I wasn't really as inclined to watch them, but now I've stopped doing them. Obviously, as we know, AJ's back. Woo! AJ's back. Yay! AJ's in the building. Absolutely. AJ's coming back. She looks sickening. She seems happier. I've got a bit of something I want to talk about there, but I might get into it, might not. I watch HT Hayes. Love his stuff. He's so good. He's so funny. He's very true to himself and his opinion's always very clear. So love that. I watched Tristan Paredes. He's more of a vocal coach. Now, I'm not a vocalist. I don't know much about the vocals. So that's why I love to hear like his take on what someone's doing vocally, because I love music and I love to analyze it, but I don't have the vernacular to do so. So I watch him and I'm just like, wow, this is so fascinating. And like, I just think about what if I was like a vocalist, you know? So yeah, I watched Tristan guys, I discovered a new one. Obviously I watch Ash, obviously, whenever she puts music stuff up. But I recently discovered a new reactor that I'm really loving and I think you guys might live. I think her channel's like Kyoshi Warrior or something, but I know that her name's Maya. I've been binging her stuff recently because she did a reaction to Ray's album, and I absolutely love Ray's album. But yeah, so I started watching her stuff. We had a little interaction in her comments, and apparently she said that she started getting into my stuff recently too, so this is kind of fun. So love that for us. But yeah, she's got such a wonderful energy. She loves Ariana. She loves Ray's album, so we've got that in common. She's just wonderful. She's really cool. Like, she seems lovely. She's got great energy. She's got great morals too. Like, she tends to like go off on little tangents here and there and like chat about just like more like philosophical life things, and I really enjoy that because that's kind of what I'm like. So yeah, so they're the music reactors that I tend to be watching recently. Now, whenever I decide to do like a movie, TV show related episode, I'll probably tell you about the TV show and like whatever reactors that the commentary channels that I watch. I'll tell you about them in that video, because there is quite a few. I do be watching some more than I used to. But yeah. So that's that on that. The next person I want to speak about is Sabrina Weenie Carpenter. She brought out, obviously she brought out Emails I Can't Send. I did do a reaction to that, so it is on the channel if you guys did want to go watch. It's a good video. I'm kind of proud of it, I'm not gonna lie. I really leaned into like the emails aesthetic, so props to me. But she released Emails I Can't Send Forward, which was like another 4 tracks. And guys, I fucking live. I tweeted this yesterday, but she has legit made pop perfection. like on tier with some of my on par with some of my favorite albums, like from like Taylor Swift, right? Like obviously because Taylor's our pop girly for the most part. But like guys, she has made an incredible album. It tells an incredible story. I've been listening. Like, and I stay listening, and like since it's released, I've been listening. There's something about Sabrina's music, and it's been like this for a while. Because like I know when she released Skin and like Honeymoon Fades, fucking loads of songs. Like whenever she did like singles and stuff, like Fast Times, when she released that as a single, like they stay in my playlists because there's something about her music that just stays with me. So she released like a deluxe version of her album. And wow, guys, fucking Opposite, gorgeous track. Feather, pop, perfection. I cannot stress this enough. Like, if you like pop and you love pop girlies and you like vocals and good writing and good production and it's it feels and hear like, what am I trying to say? It sounds expensive. Check her out, guys. It's such a good one. And like, she knows how to make you sad, but she also she knows how to make you pop your purse. So yeah, I wanted to quickly give her a quick little moment because she's been ruling my life currently. And then I've been rewatching some like reactions to Emails I Can't Send because I didn't watch many at the time. And it kind of just made me think about the whole situation between like Olivia Rodrigo, Joshua Bassett and Sabrina, and how like in her album, obviously she hits on the fact that when it all was going down, they were already broken up. Like it didn't really happen. And like everyone was sending her death threats. And it kind of just leads me on to like this whole idea of interpersonal relationships. Like this has been like a big thing that I've spoken about quite a lot recently. And like the idea of interpersonal relationships and how stan culture is so fucking wild when realistically, like some of these artists and whatever, they don't even know these people exist. But these people are ride or die going at it for like these people on Twitter. And like I don't even just mean like going at it just like arguing, like sending people death threats. Like the fact that people were sending both Olivia and Sabrina death threats over a boy, and the fact that it was just Sabrina happened to like him at a similar time and people just paired them together, and Olivia was obviously making music about a certain time in her life. Like, what merit does that give anyone to send anybody death threats? Like, I'm gonna like reiterate what fucking Ash said because I rewatched hers recently, her reaction to that, and she was just like, "Go outside, touch some fucking grass." And honestly, that's the truth. Go outside and touch some grass, man. It's just not that deep. Like, what these people do in their life does not affect you. And it doesn't matter. And like, guys, I'm not going to lie, I'll talk about it. The whole split between Taylor and Joe. Now, this might be controversial, and I understand. Like, you guys obviously loved their relationship, and I'm sure they had a great relationship while it did last, because wasn't it like 6 years or something? But this whole thing online about like people being so sad that they've broken up, and like days and days of people just chatting about how like they're so sad and they can't get over it, and like they're heartbroken, and it's as if these people are part of this relationship. You're not a part of the relationship. When like I had people sending me like screenshots and being like, "Did you see the news?" and all this stuff, and I was just like, what do you expect me to say? Like, at the end of the day, this is clearly what both of them needed at the time. This is clearly what was right for them, and I'd rather them just part ways and remain friends, whatever, if that's what they want to do, if they're both going to be happy, and I think that's what they deserve. Like, and I understand, I guess it is sad for some stans, but like, I stan the music and the artist. I don't necessarily stan their personal life. Like, don't get me wrong, like, Joe's obviously helped us get some great songs, but at the end of the day, like, Taylor can do great songs without Joe. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like we're never going to get great songs, or like it's not like it changes what these songs mean, because at the time she meant it, and at the time that's who they were about. But things change, people change, life changes, and it moves on. So like this whole thing about Taylor and Joe has been a bit crazy to me, and it's been like a whole existential thing of like, what the fuck are we doing with these interpersonal relationships and like thinking we owe it, or thinking that we're owed certain stuff by people, or like we have a right to treat certain people as though we know them and they're a part of our family when they don't know you exist. It's wild to me. And I understand like some stans are like really invested, and I get it. So I'm not trying to like put anybody down, but to me it's just been like such an eye-opening thing of like, fucking hell, stan culture is wild. And then obviously like watching Swarm as well, because I've been watching Swarm recently. Like the whole thing to do with that as well, like how she's literally murdering people to like defend her idol who doesn't know she exists, is just crazy. And obviously I understand like it's a major over dramatization of an issue, I guess. But I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? It's quite a scary thought. But yes, I thought I'd just talk about that because like we see it all the time. Like things happen in people's lives, like people break up, whatever, and then it's like death threats sent to one of them, sympathy sent to the other one. It's fucking weird. Like we saw it with Sabrina, we're seeing it currently with Taylor Swift. Like people being heartbroken over a relationship ending is crazy to me. I don't know. I guess let me know your thoughts on all this down below, because I hope I'm not being insensitive. I don't mean this in an insensitive way. But it's just kind of crazy to me. I don't know if I'll ever understand it. But yeah. Oh, I've got two more people that kind of spring to mind that have kind of been doing bits recently. I want to speak about Doja Cat. So she's been doing certain things on Twitter that is kind of crazy. But I mean, it's Doja Cat and we love her for it, right? But so she's now said that she's no longer making pop music, and essentially she wrote on Twitter this whole thing about her agreeing with what trolls were saying for a lot of time around like the time of like, I guess, Hot Pink and probably more into Planet Her, how like people were saying that her rapping's weak, she can't rap, and like her flow's weak and all this stuff. It's very mid, apparently. This is what apparently all the haters were saying. And I find it an interesting move for her to now be like, yeah, I agree with them. Because then that kind of makes me think like, do you not like your own music? And I understand at a certain time, like, you'll be into making a certain type of music. I get that completely. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing by any means. But, like, it kind of made me think about, for example, do you know Ariana Grande? Obviously, she was getting a lot of backlash when it came to obviously positions and stuff, and how she was leaning more into like an R&B trap kind of route, and people were like, why are you doing this? Like, you can sing, like, we don't like this shit. Like, that's what all the trolls were saying. And it kind of made me think about, like, she said in one of her songs, like, I don't really care, essentially. This is not like word for word, but she kind of said like, I don't care if you like my shit because I like my shit. And I feel that's kind of how it should be. Obviously I understand like certain songs you just wouldn't want to make, but like I think to discredit a whole album, a whole piece of work, to I'm assuming kind of make way for this new shit, because this is kind of where I think she's trying to go. Like, I think she's almost trying to discredit what she did before to try and say to people like, oh, well, get ready for this next shit. I'm going to prove you wrong. And I understand, obviously, wanting to prove people wrong. That's a completely natural thing. But I just think, like, you don't have to discredit your art in an album that people really fuck with that isn't mid. Like, I'm sorry, but Need to Know, like, some of the fucking, like, verses in these songs are like really good, like just really good rap, and it is what it is. And I don't know, it's weird. And like obviously now she said that she's no longer making pop music, she's only going to be doing rap. But then she writes loads of stuff on Twitter, so who knows what it's going to end up being. But I just hope that she's like doing this for the right reasons, and like she's not making pop music because she doesn't want to make pop music anymore, which is what she's said. So I'm hoping that is true, because I just don't really want it to be this whole like, I'm gonna make rap to prove people wrong, because I don't know, I just want it to like seem true to her. And if she wants to make rap, honey, I'll be here and I'll be seated, because I love me some rap and I love me some Doja Cat. But yeah, I'm just gonna be interested to see what this new era is gonna bring. So yeah, I don't know about it, but that's that on that. Britney, she's a whole different ball game, isn't she? What's going on with Britney currently? She turned comments off, so no one's commenting, but like she's still posting interesting stuff. I hope she's all right. Okay. Wait, I'm now just thinking, have I done a music episode already? Is this me doing a second music episode? Wait, I've done a music episode already, but I was kind of just spilling the tea on the music around that time. So I mean, it kind of works. Holy shit! I didn't know I'd done a music episode already. So I'm sorry if I've repeated myself. My bad. I've just realised, but this has been more about like what's currently going on. Because guys, I would like to do some like more like chatting about current events, pop culture moments. So if there's certain stuff, like certain topics or certain things that are going on that you'd like me to speak about, then definitely let me know, because I would love that. Like, I could be like a little news channel, right? But anyway, I think I'm just going to leave this episode here, because I've just realised, obviously, that I've done a music episode already. So I guess this is music part 2. Sorry. I'll be back from Paris soon, so regular scheduled programming can resume. Thank you for listening, watching, whatever. This has been another episode down the drain. Bye bye. Bye bye.